Okay. Now we are on example 2, letter B. I taught you every time to go ahead and change your mixed number to an improper. So let's go ahead and do that with this. That would be 30 plus 4 is 34 over 5. If I plug that into my calculator, 34 divided by 5 would be 6.8. There are other ways in which to look at this, which I know that this is 6, so I could just take 6, that's my whole number, 4 divided by 5 is 0.8. Square root of 49 is 7. 6.3 repeating, so I actually have a repeating sign. I can put this in my typed notes, therefore I had to put the repeating. So 6.3 with the line above is repeating. That's already a decimal, so I don't touch it. Square root of 57. Square root of 57 would actually be 7.54. 7.54. 9, we don't need to worry about rounding or any of that. So, we change everything into decimal form, which makes our job 10 times easier when we're going to go ahead and put this on our number line and when we order. So here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our first one is 6.8. 6.8 is between 6 and 7 because the whole number is 6. 6.7, and it's closer to 7, so 6.8 is about here. So this would be 6 4/5. 7 is exactly on 7. That would be square root 49. 6.3 repeating, slightly above 6. That would be 6.3 repeating. Then we have a 7.54 is about halfway. This is our square root 57. The nice thing about writing them above is we actually put them in order at the same time. Now we're on actually letter C. Go ahead and change that to letter C. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to change all of these to decimal numbers. So square root of 20, square root 20 is 4.47. So we have 4.47, we have 4.7, we don't touch it. 12 divided by 3 is 4, and then 4 1/4. So 16, 17, 17 divided by 4, 4.25. So then this would be 4.25. So I got 4.47, 4.7, 4, 4.25. So if I were to put this on a number line, I would have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My first number is 4.47, slightly below halfway between 4 and 5. It's between 4 and 5 because the whole number is 4. So this would be square root 20. 4.7 is actually between 4.5 and 5. So here's 4.7. 4 is exactly on 4, so that's 12 over 3. And then we have 4 1/4, which is between 4 and 4.5. So then this would be our 4 1/4. Because we have our numbers above our dots, we actually put them in order. 12 thirds, 4 1/4, square root 20, 4.7. Example 4, simplify each square root. If I have a big square root with a fraction inside, I can go ahead and split this and put square root 4 over square root 121. Based off of our table, we can use our table and find out that square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 121 is 11. 2 over 11. Letter B. The negative stays on the outside. I put my square root on top, square root on bottom. Negative stays out. Square root of 49 is 7. square root of 256. We didn't go high enough on our list, so we're going to go ahead and put that in our calculator. 256 square root 16. So we got negative 7 over 16. We cannot reduce. Example 5. Estimate each square root to the nearest whole number. This time, we are not going to go ahead and use a calculator. We're going to estimate square root 15. In order to estimate square root 15, we need to see where square root 15 fits within our chart that we created. That's why we created the chart. Square root 15 would be between 9 and 16. Well, 15 is closer to 16, which means it's closest to 4 as my whole number. So, square root 15 is between square root 9, square root 16. It's actually closest to square root 16, so our answer would be 4. 130 lies between 121 and 144. 121 and 144. Now we need to figure out which one is it closest to. So it's 9 spots away from 21, and it's 14 spots away from 144, so it's closest to square root 121. Square root of 121 is 11. Here we go. Adding and subtracting rational numbers. And what we're doing is we never finish 0-4, so that's why I put finish 0-4, adding and subtracting rational numbers. Go ahead and turn your book to P13. On P13, now we're finally back at example 1. We need to replace the circle with less than, greater than, or an equal to sign to make this statement true. I'm going to show you 2 different ways in which to be able to do this. What we're going to go ahead and do is, actually I'll show you 3 different ways. Without using a calculator, what I can do is I need these 2 numbers to match like we've been doing. So the first number that they have in common is 6. So if this is 6, then 3 times what gives me 6? Times 2, so I got to take the top times 2. That'd be 4. This already has 6 on bottom. Your denominators need to match. Now I can look at the top numbers. 5 is greater than 4. So 4/6 is less than 5/6. So now I know 2/3 is less than 5/6. What we can also do is go ahead and do the cross multiply method. Here's what I mean. 2 times 6, 12. 3 times 5, 15. Which one is larger? 15. That would work as well. If we have a calculator, we could go ahead and take 2 divided by 3, which is 0.6 repeating, 5 divided by 6, which is 0.83. 0.83 is larger than 0.6. Those 3 methods work. If you can use a calculator, this is by far the easiest. If you cannot use the calculator, this is the second easiest. And the reason why it works is we're coming up with the common denominator. Example 2, we need to go ahead and put these in order from least to greatest. Well, we've already done the hard part. We've done this before. So I can go ahead and I'm going to change all of these to decimal numbers. So 5 2/3, so that would be 15, 17. So 17 divided by 3, I get 5.6 repeating. So 5 times 8 is 40 plus 3, so 43 divided by 8 would be 5.375. This would be 4.9, and then I would have negative, that'd be 25 plus 3 would be 28, so 28 divided by 5 is 5.6. Okay? Well, I didn't even have to do this because I know that the negative is the smallest. It has to be because it's negative. So negative 5 3/5 would be smallest. Now I can look at my decimal numbers. 4.9 would come next. Sorry about that. 4.9 would come next. 5.375 would come third, so my 5 3/8. And then 5.6 would be last. That's my largest number. There is from least to greatest. Go ahead and try some of these exercises. So go ahead and turn your book to P10. Try number 15 on P10. Pause the video and try. On P10, number 15, we have 2 1/4, square root 7, 2.3 repeating, and we have square root 8. 2 1/4, if we were to divide that, we would get 2.25. Square root 7 would be 2.64. We have 2.3, square root 8. Square root 8 would be 2.82. 2.82. The instructions say graph each set on a number line and then order them. So let's go ahead and order and put them on a number line. So here's 0. I'm going to spread out my numbers big time so we can see what order they go to. So 2.25 would be halfway between 2 and 2.5. 2.64 would be, here's about half, so 2.64 would be here. So this would be 2 1/4. This would be square root 7. 2.3 would be here, so 2.3 repeating, and then we have a square root 8 at 2.82. So here's square root 8. Those are in order. Go ahead and try P10, number 23. Pause the video. Number 23 is negative square root 25. If I simplify this, then it's just negative 5. Turn to P16, number 2. P16, number 2. What we need to do is we need to go ahead and take 4/5, and we need to compare that to 0.71. If I need to compare these, I need to just change this to a decimal number. I would take 4 divided by 5, I would get 0.8. 0.8 is larger than 0.7. I apologize, you should have paused the video. P16, number 7. P16, number 7, we have 3.8, 3.06, 3 1/6, and we have 3 3/4. And the directions say order the set from least to greatest. So we need to order. So 3.8 is already a decimal. 3.06 is already a decimal. We need to make 3 1/6 into a decimal. So 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 is 19. Sorry, pause the video and try. So 19 divided by 6 would be 3.16, repeating. And then 3 3/4 would be 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 divided by 4 would be 3.75. So if I were to put these from least to greatest, 3.06, then I would have 3 1/6 because that's 3.16 repeating. Then I would have 3 3/4. Then I would have 3.8, least to greatest.